Humble is our word of the day, but patience could also be right up there. Father Matt Frisbee hanging on the line here. We're running a little late, and he's patiently waiting to give us a sports roundup. Good morning, Father.
Good morning,
How are you?
Matt.
Oh, good morning, Dave and Ron. Good to be with you. Good to be on the line with you as we talk sports. Just patiently waiting, although that was fine, So we're in baseball season, of course, and we should talk about the Indians, the Guardians.
Yeah.
Had a big series over the weekend. The Minnesota Twins came into town, and they came into town 2.5 games back, the Twins did, and they left town 5.5 games back as the Guardians, the Indians, swept them.
Mm-hmm.
So big series there, and then last night they faced the New York Mets, and for the first time since he was traded, Francisco Lindor returned to Progressive Field, Jacobs Field, as I like to still call it.
Yeah, it was great to see him out there, and he played amazing.
He played very well in the field from the batter's box. He's struggling. I looked at his stats. He's batting below 200 this year. But as always, a great fielder. And, yeah, nice to have him back. And, he made his money. He wanted to go to a bigger city. He wanted to make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so he got traded to the Mets, and he's making a lot of money. But I think, for us fans of the Tribe, we just remember that with the money they didn't spend on Francisco Lindor was probably money that they were able to spend on Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty good.
And Frankie's still
Tigers
smiling.
are still kind of hanging in there a little bit, but they're playing right at 500 thereabouts. They're about 6 or 7 games back right now. So,
Well, Father,
Tigers can't hit.
You've seen Cleveland in really great years. You've seen them in years that started hot, went cold, and you've seen them do the opposite. Are there legs to this team?
Well, yeah, I think so. Now, under Terry Francona, the team never started very well. They always were very aggravating for the first 2 months, even 2.5 months of the season. And then come about mid-June and especially July through the rest of the year, they always played very well under Terry. So what do the Indians, the Guardians have? Their starting pitching is starting to get better. It's starting to go deeper into games. That's a good thing. Their bullpen is lights out right now. That's big. So you get a lead late in the game, and you have a pretty good confidence we're going to win this game. And they're hitting. I think when Stephen Kwan gets back into the lineup, it'll be even better. But they've been able to get clutch hits. They've been able to put up crooked numbers in innings and not just score like one run, but they've been able to score multiple runs in an inning, and they are hitting more homers this year than they certainly did last year. So
yeah,
I think they can. The big critique always against them is they play in the AL Central, and it's a terrible division. But if you look at their record against teams with a winning record so far this year, they're above 500.
Yeah, they're right up
that's
there.
where they're winning most of their games, really.
Mm-hmm. Fun to watch.
Watch. I think it's got legs.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so obviously the Final Four in the NHL and the NBA. We got baseball, hockey, and basketball, and probably some football out there too. It's like all these sports are converging.
Oh yeah. Now there's always an irony I think about NHL. The Stanley Cup playoffs going into June. This game played on ice, and here it is, 90 degrees out. But but lots of Game 7s last night. The Edmonton Oilers. Now that's a cold weather climate right there. Won, and but Game 7's all over the NBA. The Nuggets lose to the Timberwolves. Last year's NBA champions gone, and the Knicks and Pacers, especially for fans of the NBA from the 90s, that was a classic Eastern Conference matchup and rivalry. That went to a Game 7 with the Pacers, surprising and winning in 7. So, we're getting down to it. It's a fun time of year. But like I said, it makes no sense playing hockey this late into the year.
And keeping it closer to home, the Walleyes pulled off a win last night after being down 0-2 in the series. Pulled off a win, and so now they're heading to Kansas City to play the last two. I've been to a couple games. I was happy to see them win. I was surprised that they lost the first couple, but they're still playing.
That's right. You know what? That's the beautiful thing about these series, multiple games. You always have a chance, so here we go. So I'm guessing that's best of 5 then?
Yeah, best of 5, so the next 2 back in KC. And here's the good news. The Walleyes hadn't lost 2 in a row since in early March.
That's true, yeah.
So I think they'll have a chance going into KC to pull out the last 2. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
That's right. Problem with this, they got to win both.
They refer to them as the fish. I don't know if you know that. The fish.
Well, walleye are fish.
Yep. Thank you, Father Matt.
Father Matt Frisbee, always a pleasure. Have a great day. Thanks. We'll be right back here on Morning Offering.
Wake up with Morning Offering.